Okay, the last video we talked about all the different kinds of microphones. But then what you've got to do is you've got to take the very low voltage that's coming out of the microphone. It's going to be in millivolts, very, very tiny. And you have to run it into some kind of a mixer or a preamplifier to boost the level up so you can actually use it in a recording process. So I mentioned a little bit about this Mackie mixer. This has two microphone inputs up on the top. There's trim controls here that'll set up the actual gain of each one of the microphones. You'll probably end up starting somewhere around 3 o'clock to get started. You can also convert these by pushing a button to a line level input, which would be somewhere around 300 to 500 millivolts versus the under 10 millivolts from a standard microphone. It's also got a phantom power button, which will apply 48 volts DC to any condenser microphones that you're going to use. And in this one here, you can choose to use it mono, or you can pan it left and right and actually make it a stereo mixer. This is pretty primitive, but I will tell you the mic preamps in here sound very good, and for $99, this would be a great way for a young person to start recording themselves. Then when you start to move up the line, this is actually an 8-channel board. This is a VLZ3. I've had this one for a while. I have a 1402 VLZ4 over here that I use in my main recording studio here. This one has 3 microphone inputs. It's got the trim controls up front. It's got 3 bands of EQ, bass, mid, and treble. It's also got what I also like. It's got push buttons on here so you can actually mute each of the channels. It's got a pan control so you can put it anywhere you want in the stereo spread, left or right, or mono in the middle, which would be if you were a soloist. It's got send and return so you can actually send. This red knob here is the auxiliary. You can send this to a outboard reverb processor to put a little bit of reverb on your voice. It's also got a 48 volt phantom power as well. It's got balanced I/O, so you could actually take this and run this into a recording device. Excuse me. You could actually also run this into a power amplifier, and if you had some stage speakers, you could make a little mini portable PA out of this. You could do the same thing with this unit as well. Got a headphone jack. It's got 2 sets of control room outputs on here. This would be a step up from this to this, and then this to the 1402 that I have over there. They've also got a 16-channel board in the Mackie line. And then, if you're going to do all computer recording, these have become very popular. These are the USB control boxes. They have 2 microphone or line level inputs. You can switch those at a push of a switch. It's got a master gain control. It's got a headphone level jack on the front. And then on the back it's got your USB in and out, which would be a standard USB cable, the same kind that you would use on your printer. And it's got output jacks on the back, so you could actually run the output of this into a pair of powered monitors, so you could actually hear on playback instead of using headphones. This Focusrite is a real popular device. Yamaha Steinberg makes them. Motu. There's plenty of these that are under $200. My son Nick, I just bought him a Focusrite Generation 3 unit to use for his stuff. These are very, very nice units. This one here sells for about $150. And you can use this to use if you wanted to do book reading or any any kind of audio in and out of your computer. Really makes this nice. These all take balanced cables, A3M and A3F. This goes into the back of the microphone. This one here. This one goes into the mixing board, and they lock. And they're balanced cables, which means they're a little bit quieter than any other kind of device you may use. So you've got a number of different options here on how you can get to recording either your instrumentalist or your vocalist. These actually have line inputs here, so if you wanted to do karaoke with one of these, you could do karaoke with either one of these. Be just fine. So this will kind of give you an idea of how you can get started mixing this, but the output of the microphone is very low. You're going to have some kind of mic preamps to raise that level up to close to 500 millivolts to line level, so you could then do something with it. If you're just going to do computer-based stuff, I would definitely recommend something like this Focusrite or the Steinberg units. You can go to musiciansfriend.com and you can see all kinds of different recording interfaces that you might want to use. So hope that helps you out with this part of it.